Hello, everyone. Today I will explain all about the currency report project that you will be completing this week. The deadline for submission is Sunday, May 10th. Usually, every assignment that I posted is due on Friday, 11:59. But because it's a report, we're extending a little bit the deadline, even though for the current situation we're going through right now with e-learning, I am not taking points off for late submission. So if you submit it on Monday, it's okay. I will give you full credit. But let's try to submit your currency report project by no later than Sunday, May 10th. So this is the project that you will complete using the information you collected for your Blue during the school year. So for your Blue, your bell work, you've been tracking a currency, a particular currency, and what has happened to the currency price. So every day you will come in to school, and now during e-learning, you will go to xe.com, look up the rate for your currency against the dollar, and put the currency rate in your Excel spreadsheet. And you should have data all the way from August of 2019 through this past Friday, May 1st. So May 1st should be um, the last price that you should have in your Excel. Now, in this report, you will not submit the Excel spreadsheet. You will simply upload within the report the graph, because also along with your Excel spreadsheet, you should have a graph showing the data from, again, the entire time frame that you've been tracking. So you will use template from Word to create this report. Look for a report template. Again, you're going to do it on Microsoft Word. It must be typed. You're going to use report format, which means using headings and subheadings to organize the information, and you're going to type the information in paragraph format. But it's much easier if you select a report template, a business report template on Microsoft Word. Everything is already laid out for you. You just replace it with the information for your report. So let's look at the requirements. As stated in this form over here that I'm showing you, the report must be typed, report format. Again, I suggest you use a report template. It must be double spaced. When typing reports, you want to keep it double spaced throughout the entire report. The font size must be 12 point. And I want you to select Arial style font. So the one that actually I'm using right here for the instructions, this is Arial font. So 12 point Arial font, minimum of 5 pages. Now, and excluding the cover page, I want you to keep in mind that you should include pictures and graphs if you like. Of course, you're going to have your currency price graph, your currency rate graph in your report. But also you can add pictures. You can add a map of your country, a flag, whatever you would like to add. So when you include pictures in your report, 5 pages is not a lot at all. So 5 pages excluding, not counting the cover page. Pictures and charts are expected, and you must include the following information. So the first thing, of course, you should have a cover page. And in your cover page, you're going to write your name, the currency that you are tracking, and the country's name, the course, Business in a Global Economy, and the period 1 or period 6. 15 points for the cover page only. So if you submit a report without a cover page, you automatically will have 15 points taken away from your grade. The report must also include header and footer. Very important and very easy to do. You simply insert a header and a footer. Now the header must include your name and the report title. And very important, it must be right aligned. Right aligned meaning around here. So when you're looking at a header, this by default, it will be left aligned. You will not do this. I want you to actually right align. So change the alignment for right and your header must be right aligned. Okay, so this is your header. Of course, you're going to include your name and the report title. So you can put, if you were using US dollar, USD currency report. Okay, so this is the header right aligned. The footer, it's going to be for the page numbers. There's no preference. If you want to put your page numbers in the center, you can. If you want to put it left aligned, right aligned, it's your choice. The only requirement is for the header to be right aligned, the footer, whatever alignment you prefer. 10 points for header and footer. Okay. Number third requirement covers the content of your report, of your currency rate report. So the first section will be country information. By the way, each of these sections labeled A, B, C, D, E, you will use headings for these. So you need to organize your reporting headings and if appropriate, subheadings as well. So first you're gonna have the country information. So over here, you're gonna give some background information on the country you're tracking. So if you're tracking India, if you're tracking Brazil, I want you to provide basic information on the history of the country, the demographics, what's the population, what's the, look up information on the current demographic of that country. Whatever you can find, social class division, poverty rate, whatever you can find. Definitely the population, the size of the country, that's important. So you're going to put as much information as you can possibly find on demographics. Then include also some information on the culture, on the economic situation, the political system. Again, as much information as you can find about the country. And this is, I'm talking about basic background information, just some basic overview of that particular country. Okay. Of course, you will include a reference page at the end. So when looking up information, try to pull from sources that are credible and do not simply copy and paste. I will be checking this report for plagiarism. So you simply have to reword the information, even though these are facts that you're looking up. I don't want to see that you actually copy and pasted entire paragraphs of information from different sites. So type it up, put it in your own words, but use facts. So first part, country information, 100 points for this section of the report. Second part will be major country events or highlights that took place. Oh, and there's a typo over here. Let me fix it. Took place during the school year of 2019-2020. So you're going to look up what has happened in that country during the past year. Did they have elections, presidential elections going on? Did they host any major world events like Olympics or World Cup or some big tournament? Obviously, we know Olympics didn't happen this past year, nor neither did World Cup, but did they host any major events that could have impacted their economy? Did they have any civil wars going on? Any challenges? Several of you during your international current events brought up interesting information that was taking place in many of those countries that you have been monitoring and tracking. So, of course, coronavirus definitely impacted the whole world. So that should be listed in there. So address most of the major events that took place in that country or that affected that country during the past year only. Okay, past year only. And again, I'm not looking for regular holidays or regular things that happen every year, but things that are unique that took place this year that normally don't take place in their regular everyday situation. Third part of the report, the third heading, will be your actual currency rate graph. So this will be the graph that you've created from your blue. Over here, very important, I do not want you to copy and paste all your data. I don't want to see the dates and the rates. I simply want the graph that you created from the data. Okay, so not the data, simply the graph. And the graph should include from the very first day we started tracking our blue, our currency, which should be sometime in August, all the way through May 1st. Okay, so make sure you update your graph. That's 50 points. Next, it will be the currency rate analysis. So when doing this particular section, you will consider the following questions. Are there any patterns observed in the currency rate movement for this country's currency over the past year? So when you look at your graph, do you see any drastic increases or decreases of the rate? Any ups and downs on the actual graph? And then if so, how does it relate to the country's economic or political performance during this past year? So maybe there was a spike on the rate, and right around the same time, presidential election was going on. So I want you to identify those ups and downs and see if you can find any correlation with some of the major country events or highlights that took place during the past year, or some international event that could have impacted that currency of the country during that time frame. So this will be your analysis. You will analyze what happened to the currency during the past year. And then lastly, you're going to also think about, are there any outside factors that may have impacted the currency rate fluctuation? So keep all that in mind and type up what conclusions can you take from the movements of the currency you've tracked. 100 points for this section. The last portion of the report is your personal reflection and advice. So now this is the time for you to provide your own opinion about the overall stability of that country. So what is your perception after analyzing the currency fluctuation, looking at what has happened in the country in the past year? What is your perception regarding the overall stability of this country's economy? Would you travel to this country at its current situation? What do you think? Would you feel comfortable traveling and for vacation and bringing your family to that particular country right now during the situations that it has been facing during this past year? Why or why not? Provide your explanation. And then I want you to think about, would you advise an American company to expand their business into that country? So now you're kind of playing the same role that you play in your smart car project. And would you advise a company to expand their business, their operations to that country? Why or why not? So explain your reasoning. And remember, for these last two sections, the current currency rate analysis and personal reflection advice, even though I pose questions for you to consider, you're not going to simply provide an answer. You're going to put it in paragraph format. You will answer those questions, but in paragraph format. And of course, with your explanation. Okay, be as thorough as possible. 100 points for the personal reflection advice section as well. And last but not least, you're going to include a reference page. On a separate page, your reference page must be in a completely separate page from your report. So even though maybe you ended your personal reflection and advice on the beginning of a page and you have a lot of blank space in that page, I want you to go to the next page and put your references on a page of its own. You should have a minimum of 5 references. Please, 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 Google is not a reference. I have seen students putting Google in their reference page. That's not a reference. Google is a search engine, okay? Also, as far as Wikipedia, I I do believe Wikipedia, for the most part, provides fairly accurate information, but it's not, as everybody know, it's not a credible source. So stay away from Wikipedia. You're more than welcome to look at information yourself, but I don't want you to use that as a reliable source of reference. So do not include Wikipedia in your reference page. Find other sources, okay? 25 pages for the reference page. So the total points for this report is 400 points. It is not a difficult report to put together. You're really looking up information that's very easy to find. You're not having to create a lot of new content. It's all research-based, except the last two portions of the report, which are the currency rate analysis and personal reflection. You're giving your opinion, your conclusions, and you're putting in your own words. Again, 5 pages, including your reference page, excluding your cover page, with pictures and graphs. It's not a lot of information that you're really going to have to type up to come up with 5 pages. And that's it. Keep in mind that we'll be checking for plagiarism. There are several tools online that allow us to copy and paste the information, and it tells us how much of it is plagiarized. I would like to see original information in your reports, and I highly recommend you to actually check your information on any plagiarism tool that exists online, because it's very important that you get in the habit, getting ready for college and for what's next, to create your projects, your reports, your essays in an original format. And that's it. So this is the information I would like to go over with you. Feel free to send me any questions you may have via Adsby, through Adsby private message. As always, I will be on Zoom for our class office hours on Wednesday at 9 a.m. from 9 to 10. And this is a group meeting. So any junior that would like to join and ask questions, go over the assignment again. This is individual, and it's your last individual activity for the year. Next, your capstone PowerPoint project presentation will come up, and we'll have more details for you coming up later this week. Also remember, every Friday from 10 to noon, I am on Zoom office hours, meeting students individually, having one-on-one meetings. So you can pop in at any time between 10 and noon, and I'll be available to talk to you or clarify any questions or concerns you may have. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.